Doraemon is a very popular game in Japan, but I've never liked it. I don't find it as bad as some of the stuff we've been seeing lately, but I still think it's pretty bad. Still, I wanted to give it a fair shake for this video. When it came to Doraemon, I had to ask myself, am I out of touch? No, it's the Famicom fans that are wrong. If you're not familiar with him, Doraemon is a wildly popular cartoon character, popular enough that he was named a Japanese cultural ambassador. Doraemon is a robot cat from the future who is sent back in time with an enormous array of gadgets to try to help one boy not be such a loser. But Doraemon isn't exactly competent himself, and so between the weird sci-fi gadgets and the kids, hijinks ensue. There have been a lot of Doraemon games, though I think none had been released in English until 2021. This particular Doraemon game is based on not one, not two, but 3 different Doraemon movies. And the way that works is that there's 3 different styles of games here. A kind of action exploration game that's played from a top-down and side view. A shoot-'em-up that reorientates itself as you move through passages. And an underwater maze adventure game where you have to collect items and take them to the right place. The first section is based on Doraemon Nobita no Ushu Kaitakushi, or Nobita's History of Space Pioneering. Doraemon starts out on an overhead map for this one, and you'll want to enter that first manhole immediately because you need a gun. Then you explore that overhead region, and you'll have to find hidden passages to make progress. There's a few out in the open, but they're dead ends. At least they generally have something useful in them. In this segment, collecting the milk bottles will let you fire an extra shot. The candy will heal you and increase the length of your life bar. And there's weapon power-ups that increase the strength of your shots. The other common item you'll find is dorayaki, which are a kind of sweet bun that's Doraemon's favorite food. Those refill his life to full. If you manage to find your way through that starting maze, you'll end up in this graveyard where the enemies become much more aggressive. These snakes in particular will dash in from the edge of the screen and hit you instantly if you're not ready for them. Oh, and if you die in this area, you could respawn on top of an enemy. Fortunately, this maze section is much smaller, and you'll soon find yourself at this boss. When you die, you go back almost to exactly where you were, unless you die at the boss. When you die there, you go back to the start of the graveyard area, which is quite a ways back. If you manage to defeat the boss, then it's on to the second zone. That one's based on the film Doraemon Nobita no Daimakyo, or Nobita's Inferno. This is the shoot-'em-up section of the game, and the major gimmick of it is that sometimes, if you're in just the right spot when the screen is scrolling, you'll wind up taking an alternative path. Sometimes you'll find a kid down there who will fly alongside you shooting at guys as well, and I'm told that sometimes there's weapon power-ups, but I've never seen one. It's very difficult to activate those side paths if you don't know that they're coming. You'll be on the back portion of the screen dodging bullets when a path shows up, and by that point it's too late to get into position. It makes the shoot-'em-up section intensely frustrating. It's also broken up into segments, each with their own individual boss. And this boss is not great. You have to shoot him in the eyes, which he's shooting out of, and your bullets hit his shots. And his shots are a continuous stream. Really, your only option is to go right up to his mouth, and then fly up to shoot him in the eyes when he starts firing upward. Though when the screen starts scrolling again, watch out because you'll run right into him. Assuming you survive the shoot-'em-up, you'll wind up in this underwater maze action-adventure area. It's based on the movie Doraemon Nobita no Kaite Kiganjo, or Nobita's Underwater Castle of Demons. Your big goal here is to locate keys to these treasure chests, some of which will contain the kids you want to rescue. And to do that, you'll need to pick up items and carry them around by pressing the B button. For example, this hoop is a portable hole that lets you go through certain walls. And this talisman is necessary to destroy certain monsters that pop out of boxes. In this area, collecting the diamonds destroys all enemies on the screen. This section isn't nearly as hard as the shoot 'em up. Your primary difficulty is going to be mapping out the whole area so that you can get the right items. Like most Hudson games, there is a continue code. On the Game Over screen, press in any direction and hit Start. There's also a stage select. On the title screen, you just press Select, and that rotates through what world you start at, and then you hold down A and B and press Start. So you'd hit Select twice to go to World 3. I'm actually kind of weirdly impressed with Doraemon. Instead of making a bad game with a Doraemon movie license, they made 3 of them. Really none of the 3 playstyles works well. In the overhead view of the first world, the screen only scrolls when you're really close to the edge so that monsters keep hitting you. In the second area, the hidden passages are all but required, while also being very difficult to access. The third world might be the best of them, but it's still a pretty weak game. Did you just wander into the wrong room? Oh well, you're dead. Like I said at the beginning, this is a beloved game in Japan, but I think it's beloved because of the character, not because the game is any good.